Eric was a young billionaire CEO, only 33 years old. He was tall, dark, handsome, and very smart. He owned big companies in the city. Everybody loved him. He had money, cars, houses, and workers who respected him. People always said, "Eric is lucky. Everything he touches turns to gold." One evening, after a long day at work, Eric decided to drive home by himself. His driver was on leave. The road was calm. No traffic. He wound down the window to enjoy the cool air as music played softly in the car. But suddenly, a black car came out from nowhere and blocked his way. Before Eric could understand what was happening, 3 men wearing black clothes and face masks jumped out of the car. "Come down now," one of them shouted. Eric's heart began to beat fast. He was shocked and scared. He opened the car door slowly. "Please, don't hurt me," he said. One of the men rushed to him and gave him a heavy slap. Another grabbed his neck and pushed him to the ground. They took his phones, wallet, wristwatch, gold chain, and even his shoes. They dragged him into their own car and drove off very fast. They drove for hours. The city lights faded behind them. Soon, they entered bush paths, passing small villages and farms. Finally, they stopped at a far, dirty village. There was an uncompleted building near the bush. The building had no doors, no windows, no light. It looked like a ghost house. They pulled Eric out of the car and dragged him inside the building. Inside, mosquitoes were buzzing. The floor was full of sand and broken blocks. They removed his clothes, leaving him only with his white singlet and shorts. Then they tied his hands and legs with strong ropes. He couldn't move. He couldn't run. "Call someone that can bring us money," one of them said. "If no money, you will die here." Eric looked at them. His body was shaking. "Please, don't kill me. I'll call someone." They brought out one of his phones and placed it near his ear. Eric thought for a moment. He didn't want to call his parents. He didn't want to make them panic. Then he remembered his best friend, Ben, his close friend, the one he trusted most. He whispered, "Let me call Ben. He can help." They nodded. The phone rang, and Ben picked. "Hello, Eric? Where are you? I've been calling you." Eric tried to stay calm, even though tears were forming in his eyes. "Ben, please. I need your help. I've been kidnapped. They want money. Please help me. Don't tell anybody. Just help me." Ben acted surprised. "What? Kidnapped? Where are you? Who are they? Oh my God." Eric spoke slowly. "Please, Ben, talk to them. I trust you. You're the only one I can call now." One of the kidnappers collected the phone and spoke to Ben. "We have your friend. If we don't get the money, he dies. We will call you later." The call ended. The kidnapper looked at Eric and laughed. "Hope your friend loves you, because your life is in his hands." They threw the phone to the corner of the room and walked away. Eric sat there, tired, sweating, and confused. Tears ran down his face. He said to himself softly, "Someone sent them. I can feel it. This is not a normal robbery. They were waiting for me. But who? Who would do this to me?" His mind was blank. He thought hard, but no name came to him. He kept whispering to himself in the dark. "Who planned this? Who wants me gone? I don't understand." But unknown to Eric, his best friend Ben was the one who sent the kidnappers. It was still that same lonely village where Eric was being kept, far away from a city. In that same village lived a poor girl named Amara. She was only 25 years old. Her face was always calm, but her life was full of pain. Amara lived with her widowed mother and her elder sister, Sandra. Their father died many years ago, and since then, things became hard. Very hard. Amara sold roasted corn by the roadside to support her family. Every day, she would carry her small bag of corn to the market, roast it on a fire by the road, and wait patiently for people to buy. But business was not always good. Sandra, her elder sister, didn't like Amara's way of life. Sandra dressed in short, shiny clothes and followed rich men in the village. She always came back with big money. At the end of each day, both girls would present what they made to their mother. One night, "Mama, this is what I made today," Amara said softly, dropping a few naira notes into her mother's hand. Then Sandra walked in. Her dress was tight and shiny. She dropped a bundle of money on the table and smiled. "Mama, here's your blessing for the night." Their mother's eyes lit up. "Sandra, you are my golden daughter. God will bless you. You know how to make money. Not like this useless one selling burnt corn." She turned to Amara. "Amara, how many times have I told you? This corn business does not bring money. Look at your sister. She brings money like rain. Why not join her?" Amara looked down and shook her head. "Mama, I can't. I will work hard. I will grow this corn business. But I can never sell myself. I am still a virgin, and I want to remain like that. Please, Mama, don't ask me again." Sandra laughed. "Virgin? Who did virgin help? Look at your dry face and dusty feet. You smell like smoke. No rich man will ever look at you." "Mama, I beg leave her," Sandra added, rolling her eyes. "If she doesn't want to join me, let her suffer. She can't even make money, and she's talking like a saint." Amara didn't say another word. She just walked quietly into her room. That night, she cried into her pillow. But still, she didn't give up. The next morning, Amara woke up early and went to the market. She bought fresh corn, hoping for a better day. She decided to change her selling position. "Maybe if I move to the edge of the village, near the bush path, more people will see me," she thought. She got there, cleaned a small space beside the bush, set up her small fire, and began roasting. As she sat waiting for customers, she heard voices. Two men were talking near the bush. "Let's go and get that drink," one said. "Wait. Let me go and ease myself first," the other replied. Their voices faded as they walked away. Amara quickly hid behind a tree and watched. She saw the men disappear down a path. They looked strange, like they didn't belong in the village. Then she heard something. A faint voice. "Help! Help me, please." Amara froze. She looked around. The voice was coming from the uncompleted building nearby. She dropped her corn knife into her wrapper and tiptoed toward the building. When she got closer, she saw something that shocked her. A man was lying on the floor. His hands and legs were tied with ropes. He was wearing only a dirty singlet and shorts. His face was dusty. He looked weak and tired, like he hadn't eaten for days. Without thinking, Amara ran to him. "Oh my God, who did this to you?" she whispered. "Please, help me," the man said with a low voice. Amara quickly brought out her corn knife and began cutting the ropes. "I don't know who you are or what happened, but this place is not safe. We need to go. Now." The man sat up slowly. His body was shaking. I don't think I can run," he said. "You must try." Amara said, "If they find us here, they will hurt both of us. Please, try and stand up." The man nodded. With her help, he stood up, though his legs were weak. She put his arm around her shoulder. "Lean on me. Let's go." As they walked through the bush path, Amara kept looking back, afraid the kidnappers would return. After a few minutes, they stopped to rest under a tree. She gave him some water from her small bottle. "What is your name?" she asked. The man paused. He didn't want to tell her his real name. "My name is Chris. I'm from the next village," he lied. Amara looked at him. "I'm Amara. You're lucky I found you. That place is very dangerous." "Thank you," Eric, now pretending to be Chris, said quietly. Deep down, Eric was touched. A poor village girl had just risked her life to save a stranger. And he, a billionaire, couldn't even tell her who he truly was. He looked at her again. Her wrapper was old. Her slippers were worn out. Her hands were black from roasting corn. But her heart was pure. And in that moment, Eric knew something. This girl just saved his life. Back at the uncompleted building in the forest, the three kidnappers returned from their walk. They had only stepped out for a short while to buy drinks, thinking their prisoner was still tied up, helpless. But the moment they entered the building, "What? He's gone," one of them shouted. They looked around the room. The ropes were on the floor, cut. The corner where Eric had been lying was empty. How did this happen? Where is he? They rushed outside, looking in every direction. "Check the bush," He can't go far, one said. The second man was shaking his head. This is your fault. I told you we shouldn't leave him alone. They all started blaming each other. They searched the trees, followed footprints, pushed through tall grasses. The sun was high, and the weather was hot. Their clothes were wet with sweat, but still, no sign of Eric. They searched and searched, but found nothing. Finally, one of them brought out his phone. Let's call Ben. The phone rang, and Ben picked. Hello. It's us. The boy is gone. What do you mean gone? Ben shouted. How can he be gone? Are you all mad? I gave you one job. We don't know how he escaped. Maybe someone helped him. We've looked everywhere. We've checked the whole bush. He's not here. It's like he disappeared. Ben was boiling with anger. Keep searching. He must still be around. He's weak. He cannot go far. If he gets help, everything will be ruined. The call ended. The men kept searching. 4 hours. From one bush path to another. They entered nearby farms, checked behind trees, even knocked on some villagers' doors. But Eric was nowhere to be found. He was gone. Their faces were tired. Their legs heavy. One of them sat on a stone and breathed heavily. Let's stop. He's gone. This job has failed. Another one stood beside him and looked into the distance. Let's go. Before someone else sees us and asks questions. They walked away quietly, their mission broken, and their boss, Ben, still waiting for a ransom that would never come. Far away from the forest, Mabel and the man she now knew as Chris had reached her small house. The sun was already going down. She looked left and right before sneaking him in through the back door. Please, stay here. My mother and sister must not see you. Just rest, she said, bringing him a bowl of water to clean up. Eric looked at her, weak but grateful. Thank you, Amara. I owe you my life. Amara smiled. You don't owe me anything. Just rest. You're safe now. Back in the city, Eric's parents, Chief Titus and his wife Agatha, were not at peace. For 2 days now, they had not heard from their only son. His phone lines were switched off. No messages. No reply to emails. And Eric was never the type to stay silent for long. Chief Titus sat at the edge of the sofa, looking restless. His gray beard shook slightly as he spoke. Agatha, something is wrong. Eric can never go this long without talking to us. Even when he travels, he calls. This is not normal. Agatha held her handbag tightly. Her eyes were filled with worry. Let's go to his mansion again. Maybe the housekeepers have seen him. They rushed out and drove straight to Eric's mansion. The big gate was open. The security man stood up quickly when he saw them. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma. Chief Titus stepped down. Where is Eric? The guard shook his head. Sir, we have not seen him for days. He left in his car 2 nights ago. Since then, he hasn't returned. Agatha gasped. You mean he has not come home? Have you tried calling him? Yes, ma. His phone is off. Chief Titus looked around. Everything in the house was calm. Too calm. It didn't feel right. We need to go to his office, he said. Minutes later, they arrived at Eric's company. The receptionist and some top workers gathered to greet them. Chief Titus didn't waste time. When last did you see my son? One of the staff replied, Sir, he came in 2 days ago. He attended a short meeting and left in his black car. Since then, we have not heard from him. Agatha began to cry softly. Where is my son? God, please protect my son. Chief Titus wiped her tears. Let's go to Ben's house, she said suddenly. Eric tells Ben everything. He must know where he is. They left immediately. At Ben's house. Ben was at home, sitting in his living room, when he saw Chief Titus and Agatha walking toward his gate through the CCTV screen. His heart started beating fast. They've come, he said to himself. Why now? He stood up quickly and called his gateman. Tell them I'm not at home. Say I traveled. The gateman nodded and walked out. Moments later, Chief Titus knocked on the gate. The gateman opened it and bowed. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma. Ben is not at home. He traveled this morning. Agatha frowned. Traveled? Did he travel with Eric? No, ma. He traveled alone. Chief Titus stared at the house for a long time. Tell Ben to call me the moment he returns. Yes, sir, the gateman replied. They walked back to their car. They drove off in silence, their hearts heavy with fear. Back in the village, Amara was walking home slowly. She knew the reason she didn't sell anything today. It was because she spent most of her time helping that man she found in the uncompleted building. That was why she wasn't at her usual corn-selling spot. She sighed and shook her head. I can't tell Mama the truth, she whispered to herself. If I tell her I was helping a man, she will beat me. She won't even listen. She'll just shout and say I'm wasting my life. Amara looked at her dust-stained wrapper and the few unsold corns in her sack. I'll just tell her I didn't sell today. That's better than saying I helped a stranger. She felt scared but also proud inside her heart. She knew she did the right thing by helping someone in trouble. But she also knew her mother would never understand. The moment she stepped into the compound, her mother shouted, Amara, what did you make today? Amara stood quietly. Mama, there was no customer today. I didn't sell anything. Her mother's eyes widened. Nothing, not even one corn. No, Mama. Her mother dropped the bowl she was holding and placed her hands on her waist. You see why I don't like that useless corn business. It doesn't bring money. Just look at you, doty, hungry, and still proud. Is this the life you want? Sandra was standing nearby. She laughed and shook her head. I was even thinking you would make small money today like always, she said, still laughing. I didn't know you won't sell anything at all. She walked closer. Amara, this your corn business is getting worse every day. I'm your sister. I can't lie to you. You need to change this business. Do something else. Dress well. Look good. Don't you like money? Why are you always choosing to suffer like this? She held Amara's hand and raised it up. Just look at your hand. See how dark and rough it is from always roasting corn under the sun. Is this life? Is this how you want to live forever? Amara looked away, silent. Her heart was heavy, not because of the insults, but because of the man she was hiding in the old hut. He was still weak. He needed food. He needed care. Later that night, when everyone had gone to sleep, Amara tiptoed out of the house with a small plate of leftover rice. She walked quietly to the back, into the bush path that led to the old hut. When she entered, Eric, still pretending to be Chris, sat up slowly. I'm sorry it took time, she whispered. Hey, I brought you something to eat. Eric looked at her with soft eyes. Thank you, Amara. He took the food slowly. He was tired and weak, but he smiled a little. As he ate, Amara sat beside him on the floor. You said you are from the next village, right? She asked. Eric nodded. Yes. Amara sighed. I've never seen anyone tied up like that before. Whoever did that to you wanted you gone. Eric looked down. Maybe they thought I had something they could take, but now I just want to get away from here. I don't feel safe. Amara looked at him closely. There was something in his eyes, something deeper than he was saying. But she didn't ask more questions. She just whispered, You are safe. Very early the next morning, while the sky was still dim and the birds just started singing, Sandra, who had been curious about Amara's movements, quietly followed her younger sister from a distance. She saw her enter the old farm hut behind the bush. Sandra frowned. What is she doing there again? She thought. That place has been empty since Papa died. She crept closer, pushed the weak wooden door, and peeped inside. The moment she saw the man inside sitting weakly on the mat, her eyes widened. She opened the door wide and screamed, Amara, so you are hiding a man. I can't believe this. Amara quickly stood up, her heart jumping out of her chest. Sandra, please lower your voice. Don't shout, I beg you. Sandra clapped her hands and laughed loudly. So you have a boyfriend now, and tomorrow you will open your mouth and say, I'm still a virgin. Look at you, Miss Innocent. Amara moved close to her and held her hand. Please, Sandra, don't let Mama hear about this. Please. It's not what you think. Sandra pushed her hand away. Let me see the man well, she said, walking toward Eric. When she looked at him closely, she wrinkled her nose. Ooh, Amara, see the kind of doty and jobless man you are hiding in Papa's hut. So this is your taste? This is your big secret. She turned to Eric, who kept quiet, not saying a word. Sandra laughed again. As old as you are, a girl is hiding you in a bush hut. No work, no future. And you can't even talk. Sandra, stop it, Amara said firmly. You are embarrassing him. He's not my boyfriend. I found him tied in an uncompleted building near the bush path. I couldn't leave him there to die. His name is Chris, and he said he's from the next village. Sandra rolled her eyes. Then he should go back to his village. Why are you hiding him here like a thief? Mama will soon find out, and she will not be happy at all. He can't go now, Amara replied. If he leaves, those people might find him again. They are dangerous. Please, Sandra, let us help him just for a few more days. Sandra folded her arms. So this is why you didn't sell any corn yesterday? Because you were playing nurse for a stranger? Mama needs money, and you are here hiding a grown man. Eric listened to everything quietly. He watched as Amara stood her ground, defending him with boldness and care. His heart grew soft. After Sandra stormed out, Amara sat beside him. I'm so sorry about that, she said, looking down. She can be very rude sometimes. Eric looked at her and spoke slowly. You are risking too much for me. I won't forget this. Ever. They were both silent for a moment. Something gentle filled the space between them. Something soft and warm. Eric looked up. Do you have a phone I can use? I need to call my parents. They must be worried by now. Amara shook her head sadly. No, I don't have one yet. I'm still saving to buy a small one. I've been putting money aside little by little. Maybe if I sell well today, I can complete it. Eric nodded. It's okay. Thank you, Amara. You've done more than enough already. She smiled. Let me go now. I have to get to my spot early today. She took her basket and slipped out quietly. But as Amara walked along the narrow path toward the roadside, something made her stop. She heard voices. She quickly hid behind a thick tree and peeped. Her heart almost stopped. The same men she saw the day she rescued Eric. It was them, the three men who kidnapped Eric. They were standing not far from her, holding sticks and looking around. One of them brought out a phone and began to speak. Sir Ben, we are still searching for him. He couldn't have gone far. We are checking the nearby areas. Don't worry, we will find him. Amara covered her mouth, her heart beating fast. Sir Ben, she whispered to herself. She waited until they walked away in the other direction. Then she ran. Her legs flew over the bush path. She didn't stop until she reached the hut. She pushed the door open. Chris. Eric stood up quickly. What happened? Amara was breathing fast. I saw them. The same men. They are still in this village. I heard them. They made a call. They were talking to someone. They said his name. Eric stepped closer. Who? What name? Amara whispered, Ben. Eric's face changed. His heart felt heavy. Ben, he said, almost like a whisper. No, it can't be. Amara nodded. They called him Sir Ben. They said he's the one giving them orders. Eric sat down slowly. His head was spinning. His best friend. His brother in everything. The one person he trusted more than anyone in the world was the one behind his pain. I need to leave this place, Eric said quietly. I can't stay here anymore. It's no longer safe. If they are still searching, they will not stop until they find me. Amara looked at him. Where will you go? You can't walk far. Your body is still not strong. I don't know yet, Eric said, looking away. But I have to move. And I must find a way to expose Ben. Amara reached out and held his hand. You're not alone anymore. That evening, the sky was gray. A cold breeze passed through the village. Amara sat quietly in front of the hut, thinking of what to do next. Eric, still weak but stronger than before, had just finished drinking the warm pap she brought him. Amara stood up and walked slowly to the main house. She found Sandra sitting under the mango tree, pressing her phone and chewing roasted groundnuts. Sandra, Amara said softly. Sandra looked up with a smirk. What is it again? Hope your husband is okay. Amara ignored her words. Please, I'm begging you. I need your help. Let Chris use your phone. Just one call. He wants to call his parents. They may be worried about him. Sandra laughed loudly. So your dirty, hungry boyfriend has people to call? And you're still hiding him in Papa's hut? Amara, are you thinking at all? Did you even ask what he did? What if he's a criminal? Why was he tied up in the bush in the first place? Her voice grew louder. Just then, their mother, who had been pounding yam inside the kitchen, heard Sandra's voice. She dropped the pestle, wiped her hands on her wrapper, and came out in anger. What am I hearing? Amara is hiding a man in this house. Amara turned quickly and fell on her knees. Mama, please, it's not what you think. I only helped a helpless man. I didn't plan to hide anything from you. He was tied up. I found him like that in the bush. He was dying. Their mother's eyes were red with anger. Amara, you brought a man into my house? A full-grown man. You're feeding him, bathing him, and you didn't think I should know. Mama, please. Get up, her mother shouted. You will leave this house with that man. Since you now think you're a wife and mother, go and live with him outside. Sandra crossed her arms and rolled her eyes. Mama, I've been saying this. Amara thinks she's better than me. But look at her now, carrying a man in secret like a thief. Her mother turned again to Amara. How much have you brought into this house that gave you the boldness to bring a man? Where is he? I want to see him now. Sandra didn't wait. Follow me, Mama. Let me show you where she has been hiding him. Amara stood up slowly, her face covered with tears. She walked behind them, her heart beating fast. They got to the old hut. Eric was sitting on a mat when the door flung open. He stood up, surprised. Her mother marched in, looked him up and down with disgust. So you're the man eating my daughter's food and hiding like a rat. Eric lowered his head. Ma, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. I had no one. I didn't know where I was. She only helped me. Amara stepped forward. Mama, please, he's not lying. I didn't do anything wrong. Her mother turned sharply. Pack your things. You will leave this house with him. I don't care where you go. Just go. Amara's legs became weak. Her tears fell like rain. Eric stepped forward and wiped her tears gently. You're not alone anymore. You will come with me. Amara looked at him. But where will we go? I'll take you somewhere safe. She nodded slowly. She had no money, but she remembered her small savings hidden inside her old bag. She ran back inside the house. Her mother didn't stop her. She took her savings, tied it in her wrapper, and followed Eric. They got to the main road. Eric leaned on her shoulder as they walked. He was still weak, but he didn't stop. When they reached the motor park, Amara walked up to a bus driver. How much is it to the next town? 500 naira, he said. Amara brought out her money, counted it with shaking hands, and paid for both of them. They entered the back seat of the old bus. As the engine started and the bus moved slowly out of the village, Amara looked through the window at the trees passing by. Her heart was beating. She didn't know where she was going. She didn't know what the future held. But she knew one thing. She had followed her heart. And now, her life was about to change forever. The city was bright and busy. Cars moved fast, people walked in suits, and tall buildings stood proudly on every corner. Amara sat beside Eric, staring through the window like someone in a dream. She had never seen a place so clean, so shiny, so full of life. Eric smiled as he glanced at her. Are you okay? Amara nodded slowly. Yes, but all this still feels like a dream. Soon, the car turned into a large compound with tall gates and flowers lining both sides of the driveway. Amara looked around in shock. Is this where you live? Eric laughed softly. Come inside first. As they stepped out of the car, the security man ran toward the gate. Sir, welcome, sir. We were so worried. The housekeeper also came rushing out. Oh my God, sir. Where have you been? We were afraid something bad had happened. Eric smiled and waved them to relax. I'm fine. I'll explain everything. Amara stood still, frozen at the beauty of the mansion. The white walls, glass doors, gold lights, and soft smell of flowers in the air. It was too much to take in at once. Eric looked back and reached for her hand. "Come in." Inside the mansion, everything sparkled. The living room had white leather chairs, a huge TV, and art on the walls. Amara didn't even want to sit. Her wrapper was too dusty. But Eric pulled a seat for her. "Relax," he said. "You're safe here." A few minutes later, Eric picked up his phone and called his parents. "Dad, Mom, please come. I have something very important to tell you." Within an hour, Chief Titus and his wife Agatha arrived. The moment they saw Eric, Agatha ran to him and hugged him tight. "My son, where have you been? We thought we had lost you." Chief Titus placed his hand on Eric's shoulder. "Talk to us. What happened?" Eric sat them down and shared everything, from the moment he was kidnapped, to how he was tied in a dirty building, to the moment a village girl named Amara came and rescued him. As he spoke, Agatha kept looking at Amara, her eyes filling with tears. "This girl saved your life?" she asked. "Yes, Mama," Eric said. "She found me when I was almost dead. She fed me, cared for me, and risked her life for me." Chief Titus stood up and walked to Amara. He placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "Thank you," he said with a soft voice. "Thank you for saving our only son." Amara bowed her head. "I only did what was right, sir." Then Eric looked at them. "But that's not all," he said. "You won't believe who planned the whole thing." "Who?" Agatha asked. Eric's face turned serious. "It was Ben." There was silence in the room. "Ben?" Chief Titus asked, stepping back. "Your best friend Ben?" Eric nodded. "Yes. He sent those men. He was the one who wanted me gone." Agatha gasped. "But why? What did you ever do to him?" "I don't know," Eric said. "But now I do know who my real friends are." Chief Titus picked up his phone immediately. "I will make sure that Ben and his gang are arrested at once." Agatha held Amara's hand. "God used you to protect my son. You are a blessing." Later that day, Eric took Amara to the biggest shopping mall in town. Her eyes widened as she walked in. Everything sparkled. Dresses, shoes, bags, perfumes, things she had never even imagined. Eric turned to her with a smile. "Pick anything you want. In fact, pick everything you need." Amara looked shocked. "But I don't need too much." Eric shook his head. "Amara, please. Let me do this. You gave me something no one else could. My life. Let me give you back something too." They walked around, laughing, talking, and picking clothes. Eric bought her dresses, shoes, a beautiful handbag, and even her first phone. When they got back to the mansion, Eric led her to the balcony that faced the garden. He turned to her and took her hands gently. "My name is not Chris," he said. Amara looked into his eyes. "My name is Eric. Eric Titus. This is my home. You've already met my parents, and now I want you to know something else." Amara held her breath. Eric smiled. "I have never felt the way I feel when I'm around you. From the day you untied me, you tied something else, my heart." Amara smiled shyly, tears dancing in her eyes. "I don't know what the future holds, but I know I want you in mine," Eric said. Since that day, everything changed. Day by day, they grew closer. They laughed, they cooked together, they told stories. Amara's room in the mansion became her home. And Eric's heart? It was already his. It was a quiet evening in the garden of Eric's mansion. The flowers were blooming, the sky was golden, and the air was cool. Eric held Amara's hands gently. He went down on one knee, brought out a shining ring, and looked into her eyes. "Amara, you saved my life when you had nothing. You stood by me when I was weak. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me?" Tears dropped from Amara's eyes. Her heart beat fast. "Yes, Eric. I will marry you." Eric smiled with joy and slid the ring on her finger. They hugged tightly. The next morning, Amara sat beside Eric at the breakfast table. "Eric," she said softly, "I want to travel to my village." "Why?" he asked, surprised. "I want to inform my mother. Even though she threw me out for helping you, she's still my mother. She should hear it from me. Eric held her hand. Then I will go with you. We'll take the driver and the security team. They packed some food items and gifts. Amara picked them herself: rice, oil, yams, tomatoes, and even a bag of clothes. The next day, their journey to the village began. The black SUV drove through the dusty roads. Trees waved at the wind, and the sky was clear. When they reached Amara's compound, her mother was outside peeling cassava. She saw the big car drive into her compound and dropped the knife in her hand. Who could that be? She asked herself. Did they miss their way? Sandra came out of the house, her belly round with pregnancy. She walked slowly toward the car, surprised. Then the door opened. Amara stepped out, looking beautiful. Her skin was glowing, her dress shining, and her face full of peace. Their mother's mouth opened wide in shock. Sandra's eyes grew big. Amara, is that really you? Before they could say another word, Eric stepped out from the other side of the car, wearing a fine shirt and wristwatch. His presence was calm and powerful. Sandra quickly covered her mouth in shame. Amara walked closer and said, "Mama, you threw me out for helping a stranger. Today, I came with that same stranger, and he's the man I will be marrying." The driver and security men began to bring out the food items from the car. Their mother looked at the food, then back at Amara. Tears filled her eyes. "My daughter, please forgive me. I was wrong. I judged too fast. I was too harsh. Please, Amara, forgive me." Sandra also came closer, holding her baby bump. Her voice was soft and full of regret. "Sister, please forgive me too. I insulted you. I mocked you. I was proud. But look at me now." Amara nodded slowly. "I already forgave both of you. That's why I came here. I came to tell you that our wedding is next month. You are all invited." Her mother smiled through tears. "Thank you, my child. You are truly blessed." Sandra sat down and held her stomach. Her eyes were red with sadness. "Mama," Amara said gently, "I see she's pregnant." Their mother sighed. "She got pregnant soon after you left. She doesn't even know who the father is. They all abandoned her." Amara turned to Sandra. "That's why I refused to live that kind of life. I chose to suffer with dignity." Sandra bent her head. "I now understand, sister. You were wise. I was foolish. I made a mistake." She turned to Eric. "Chris." Amara touched her hand. "His name is not Chris. His name is Eric." Sandra looked at Eric, tears in her eyes. "Please forgive me for all the things I said to you." Eric nodded kindly. "It's all right. I hold nothing against you." After a while, Eric and Amara entered their car and drove back to the city. Sandra stood quietly in front of the compound, holding her belly, crying softly. "Mama, you ruined my life," Sandra said. But her mother replied, "I didn't ruin your life. You chose it. I only asked for money. You followed your own way. Look at your sister now. She chose the right path, even when I scolded her. So don't blame me. Take responsibility." Sandra sat on the ground and wept. Back in the city, the police had found and arrested Ben and his gang. Eric received the news and went to the police station. Ben was sitting inside the cell, looking dirty and tired. Eric stood in front of him, looking into his eyes. "Ben," he said, "I saw you as my brother. You were the one I trusted most. I helped you when your parents died. I gave you a job. I gave you everything. And still, you betrayed me." Ben held the iron bars with shaking hands. "I'm sorry, Eric. I was foolish. Please forgive me." Eric sighed. "I have forgiven you. But you must face the law. Actions have consequences." 1 month later, Eric and Amara's wedding was the talk of the city. It was grand, beautiful, and filled with joy. People came from far and near. The hall was decorated in gold and white. The music played gently. Flowers filled every corner. Amara walked down the aisle in a white dress. Eric stood at the altar, smiling like never before. They said their vows, exchanged rings, and kissed under the blessings of their parents. In the crowd, Sandra sat at the back, holding her newborn baby. She wore a simple gown. Tears flowed from her eyes, not tears of jealousy, but of regret. She watched as her sister stood with her husband, full of joy and peace. Chief Titus and Agatha smiled proudly. As Amara turned to the guest with her husband beside her, she saw Sandra holding the baby. She smiled softly. It was a day of joy, a day of peace, and a day to remember that no matter where you come from, love will always find you. The end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe, share, like, and share your thoughts in the comments section. The end.